let's get into the sea slug because this is fantastic. All right, so I want to. This is a really random thing that Nisha actually found. This is pretty incredible. Check this out. Nice. A sea slug a detached head can crawl around and grow a whole new body.
Mm-hmm. They're amazing.
This is insane. Now, you said you were all into biology and marine biology.
In school, they made me study this because I didn't take my final in chemistry, so they made me take marine biology to pass. But It was really great. Yeah, it was really cool.
Have you heard of this slug before?
Totally. Yeah.
You have.
So there's different kinds of sea slugs that can, like, essentially, as long as they don't have like major bone reconstruction to do. Yeah. Like that's the main problem. But if they have enough of their brainstem, then yeah.
Well, let's check it out. Let's read about it. Let's see. All right. Of course, they have to do some funny little. Losing your body from the neck down can be just another one of life's annoying but temporary setbacks, at least for two kinds of rippling, green-tinged sea slugs.
Aw.
Let's see. Heads of young Alesia SF or CF marginata sea slugs can pull themselves free from their bodies and just keep crawling around while growing a new body, report ecologists at Nara Women's University in Japan. Within a few hours, some separated heads start nibbling on algae again. Sayaka Maito and Yoshi Yusa report March 8th in Current Biology. And within about 20 days, a third of the young sea slugs they watched had grown their bodies back, heart and all. That's crazy. That's the first time anyone has reported such dramatic whole body regeneration in any sea slug, as far as we know, Yusa says. Other creatures can regenerate too. In one sense, Planarians, the little cross-eyed flatworms that biology students mince up to study regeneration, are better, Yusa says. They can regenerate the whole body from multiple cut pieces, yet their body plan is simpler, and they don't have hearts. A group of tube-like sea squirts called ascidians might be considered the most complex and whole-body regenerators. Yet ascidians also lack a heart. The vertebrate regenerators, like salamanders regrowing a tail left in the jaws of a predator, don't regrow a whole body from a severed head. Mm-hmm. Maito first noticed the sea slug's extreme regeneration by chance in some Alesia slugs in the lab. We were really surprised to see the head crawling again. Just which Alesia species can turn into crawling heads isn't clear yet. Marine biologist Sonia Cruz at the University of Aveiro in Portugal works with two other Alesia species, but hasn't seen anything like it. She does caution, though, that she hasn't done systemic tests. And I think this is a video on it. Let's keep reading, and then maybe we'll play that while we chat about it. The head of the sea slug can take several hours to rip itself loose from its body, so Maito and Yusa doubt that the deheading helps when predators attack. Instead, a detachable body could give the sea slug a drastic but effective way of dealing with parasites. In a batch of wild-caught E. atroviridis sea slugs, the few that detached their bodies were parasitized by copepods. So were those that just lost pieces of their body, some of which also regrew. On close inspection, the researchers found that sea slugs have a slight groove looped on the back of the head region that seems to work as a break here zone. The bodies left behind can move on their own for days or even months. An abandoned body, however, doesn't regrow its head. The leaf-shaped remnant instead turns pale and weak and eventually dies. What might help Alesia slugs manage such extreme regrowth is their ability to steal the tiny green sunlight trapping energy factories called chloroplasts from plants. The researchers muse, very young slugs don't have any chlorophats, but they need to pierce the cell walls of sea algae and sip the contents, Yusa says. The grazing slugs can keep the chloroplasts alive for weeks or months. Biologists debate what the stolen chloroplasts do for their kidnappers besides provide a pretty green tinge. Yusa, however, has linked the looted chloroplasts to such consequential matters as improved reproduction. if chloroplasts are more than cosmetic, maybe that energy boost is what a severed head needs to get more than a head.
That's fascinating.
Great finish. But that's pretty interesting because
that's utterly fascinating.
Maybe they're using photosynthesis.
Right,
Maybe they're holding on to it and actually using the same technology that all plants use
to exploit the chlorophylllic acetate from the oils in a plant that doesn't have cell walls. Is I was wondering how it was happening. Obviously, with certain calcified bone structures and exoskeleton metazoas, it's almost impossible to do that. But with plants, it's almost every plant you can splice, and almost every farmer is doing grafting with plants.
But this is the first time I've seen anything along the lines of an animal.
Well, tardigrades use chloroplasts.
Little mini bears.
Yeah, the water bears.
Water bears.
I like tardigrade because it sounds like Tartaria. But yeah,
True.
they are.
Of course you do.
Yeah, I'm biased, but they do that. But they're not as complicated. They're complicated, but they're not as complex.
They're actually eating plants.
Mm-hmm.
And taking those chloroplats and using them as well.
They have to exploit their the environmental agents that are available.
Interesting.
That's the only way.
Yeah.
But also siphonophores and Pteroptoxis nocula, right?
Okay. What is that? What did you just say?
Those are two kinds of jellyfish.
Oh, okay.
So one is an immortal jellyfish, and the other is actually a clan of jellyfish. So
I've heard of this immortal jellyfish.
Yeah, so I think that's you could look up immortal jellyfish because I'm afraid the name is slightly different than I'm saying.
Now, immortal never dies.
Well,
immortal.
You could kill the Highlander, right? But if you didn't, then they live forever. So they don't have.
So it's basically the elder Highlander jellyfish.
Yeah, they don't lose telomeric.
Just say yes, because it sounds so cool.
It is. It's exactly.
Does it carry a sword?
I mean, have you seen the tentacles?
No, but I'm excited.
They're way worse than swords.
I'm looking this up.
If you get
keep telling us about it.
Look at a SEM, a scanning electron microscopic picture of jellyfish talons on their. They're violent. I don't know if you've ever been stung by a giant jellyfish, but it hurts a lot.
Things.
I almost passed out once in Mexico because I got wrapped.
And these are really poisonous, or what?
I mean, I haven't ever just the size alone.
How big are they? I can't really. There's no real way to tell.
They can get to be 16, 20 feet long. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's way bigger than I'm seeing here. Look at that.
Yeah.
There's no human there to and then the deep blue sea. How do do you compare sizes?
Those talons. Those I'm sorry, the tentacles.
Yeah.
They have talons on them. Those dig into you and they rip you and it hurts like nothing else.
I believe that.
It's the worst possible thing.
Dang.
That is,
So wait, now they use photosynthesis also, or what?
No,
or eat algae and use the same kind of stuff.
Exactly. They eat algae in order to get to the chloroplast.
It's interesting though. It's like the snail or the sea slug has no stomach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's still nibbling on it and using that technology that the plant has.
Well,
I call it technology, but
a stomach is a technology too. But it's so for the most part, a stomach becomes more valuable when you're starting to get closer to shore. So even in deep sea, if you're moving around and you're bringing food with you, it's a reserve system. But in the original metazoas, like early life, you have single-celled organisms start to ally, and so you have a chain of single-celled organisms, and then the chain becomes a mouth. Because it has we'll be here, and that way if something comes in between us, it'll be like a bay for food to get stuck in. Mm-hmm. And then eventually they're like, okay, well we're going to start to close that occasionally, so you need to start being the digestive. We'll just bring you stuff to digest. And then once you're going on land, they have the cardiovascular system is actually bringing a saline solution. Blood is very much like seawater.
Interesting.
And so it's just so you can keep an ocean in your gut while you're going around.
That is a cool present. I like that a lot. That's pretty cool to think about.
I know, we have an ocean in us.
Yeah.
Actually, we have slightly more sodium and magnesium than the ocean does, but mainly we think because it used to have that amount before glacial melting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So pretty much all land mammals then would.
Oh, I mean everything on land. Yeah. But
cool.
also
that's
then,
awesome.
You know about blue blood crabs, right?
It sounds familiar. They're used for. I know they're used for some sort of medicinal.
Yeah.
Something.
So,
right?
I mean, everything. So right now they use it for COVID treatments and
I thought so.
They're $100,000 crabs, but they were the rich people have been using them for millennia,
of course,
centuries at least. And like,
for what?
Well, so the deal is with blood, it's oxygenation makes it rust. So iron rusts because of the oxygen. It gets this red color.
Okay.
But if you had copper will go green blue when it oxidizes. Ox copper, we call it. It's like when an orange brown roof becomes green. When your penny becomes green, it's because that's what will happen if it was if you had nanoscopic copper instead of iron in the saline solution, because that's what's holding on to the oxygen so that it can come through your bloodstream like bubbly water, and it gets brings the oxygen around the system. Copper lasts longer than iron. The iron will break down faster.
So the blue crabs have a lot of copper in their blood?
They have exclusively copper blood instead of having iron blood.
That's why it's blue.
Yeah. And so red. And imagine if we were to if we could put that into us, for instance, if you could have in the future, we might have titanium blood. So titanium blood would be amazing. Imagine your heart.
Titanium blood. Do tell us.
I mean, if your heart stopped, right? Like, say your heart stops.
Okay, that's not what I'm not excited about that.
Well, but hear me. I mean, Dick Cheney doesn't even have a heartbeat, right? He has like a turbine that just spins. No, that's a literal. No, literally, he has a turbine instead of a heart.
Like he doesn't have a heart anymore?
No, he has a machine.
Replaced?
He has a machine that spins like a propeller.
Oh, snap!
Like a squid has a jet. Yeah. But
okay, go on.
What you would do is you replace your iron-based blood with titanium-based blood, and then if your heart were to stop, like maybe tomorrow or the next day, you call the doctor.
Hey, my heart stopped working.
A couple days ago, I had a problem, and then they're like, "Oh, don't worry, just can you come in next week or the week after? We have something this week, but come in next week, and we'll and then they just replace your blood. We'll do a dialysis system.
But the blood also brings oxygen to all your muscles to work.
But so what you do is you bring huge amounts of oxygen that are stored because the surface dense. So when something's smaller, there's less volume, right?
Okay.
But if it's smaller, there's more surface area. So the more surface area, you have more of these titanium bubbles. It's like ping pong balls. You have tinier ping pong balls with more oxygen. So you can actually oxygenate your body like far more.
Yeah, right? But if it's not moving, how is it supposed to oxygenate it?
Oh, it can still move.
But the heart is what moves the blood around.
Yeah, but once it gets into place, you'd be able to hold your breath for like days, not instead of just a minute. Like it would be enough oxygen at the time. I'm gonna need more proof on that. I mean, yeah, that's a huge thing in medicine right now. I am
actually very interested to hear about titanium blood.